Most men don't have a money problem. They have a self-knowledge problem, and the market knows it before they do. There's a specific kind of pain that doesn't announce itself loudly. It doesn't come with sirens or flashing lights. It arrives quietly, in the form of a brokerage statement you close without reading. A trade you knew was wrong the moment you placed it. A pattern you've repeated so many times it no longer surprises you, it just confirms something you're afraid to say out loud. That you might not be built for this. That's the thought, isn't it? Somewhere beneath the strategies, the charts, the new indicators, the YouTube tutorials, the Discord groups, somewhere in that quiet place at 2 a.m. when the position is underwater and you're doing the math, that thought surfaces. And instead of sitting with it, most men immediately open another tab. That is where the real problem begins. The financial industry will tell you that you lost money because of poor risk management, because your entry was wrong, because you didn't follow the system, and sometimes that's technically accurate. But it's not the full truth. The full truth is this. Most repeated financial losses are not strategic failures. They are psychological ones dressed in strategic clothing. Yes, you got that right. The human brain was not designed for markets. It was designed for survival in a world where hesitation meant death and where the pack determined your status. The same neurological wiring that once kept your ancestors alive is now systematically destroying their wealth. Think about what happens when a position starts to move against you. Your amygdala fires. Cortisol floods your bloodstream. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational decision-making, gets partially shut down. You are no longer an investor. You are a primate experiencing a threat response. And what does a threatened primate do? It freezes, or it runs, or it doubles down to prove dominance over something that has no awareness of your ego whatsoever. The market doesn't know your name. It doesn't care about your pain. It has no memory of what it did to you last Tuesday. But you do, and that memory is the problem. Neuroscientists call it loss aversion. Behavioral economists have cataloged it. Kahneman won a Nobel Prize explaining it. The pain of losing $100 is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining $100. This is not philosophy, this is wiring. Which means the average person enters every trade already at a psychological disadvantage. They are playing offense with a brain wired for defense. And here's where it gets darker. The modern financial environment is deliberately structured to exploit this. The apps are gamified. The charts are designed to create urgency. The push notifications are timed to trigger action. The options market expiration cycles are engineered around human behavioral patterns. You are not just competing against other traders. You are competing against systems built by PhDs in behavioral psychology whose entire job is to understand what makes people like you pull the trigger at exactly the wrong moment. And they are very good at their job. Picture a man, 34 years old, works in logistics, decent income, disciplined enough in other areas of life. He goes to the gym. He doesn't drink excessively. He has goals. He is not, by any definition, a weak man. He discovered trading 3 years ago during a period when the market rewarded almost everyone. He made money. It felt almost too easy. And that feeling, that specific feeling of being right, of watching a number go up because of a decision you made, released something in him that nothing else quite matched. Dopamine. Not in small amounts, in waves. He didn't realize it at the time, but he had just discovered a slot machine that allowed him to convince himself he was engaging in intellectual activity. The next year, the market changed character. He didn't. He lost. Not catastrophically, just enough to need to recover, so he studied harder. He found a new strategy. He was more confident this time because he had done the work. He lost again. And this is where the psychology becomes truly dangerous. Because now it wasn't just money, it was identity. Every loss was an attack on his self-concept as a capable, intelligent man. And so the trades became less about capital and more about proof. Proof that he was right. Proof that the market had been wrong about him. You cannot think clearly when your ego is on the line. It is neurologically impossible. He started taking larger positions to recover faster. He started holding losers longer because closing them meant admitting defeat. He started avoiding looking at his account balance the same way a man avoids looking at a part of his life he knows he's mismanaged. 3 years in, net negative, still trading. Not because he lacks intelligence, not because the information isn't available, but because no amount of information can fix a psychological architecture that hasn't been examined. This story is not unusual. It is, in various forms, the most common story in retail trading, and what makes it genuinely tragic is not the money lost. Money can be rebuilt. What's lost is time. And the version of the man who might have existed had he understood the real game he was playing. Here is the realization most people never reach. The market is not the arena. Your own mind is the arena. The market is simply the mirror. And what the mirror shows, most men are not prepared to look at directly. Think about every bad trade you've made. Now think carefully, not about the technical setup, but about the emotional state you were in when you placed it. Were you frustrated from a previous loss? Were you watching someone else win and feeling the pressure of comparison? Were you bored and looking for stimulation? Were you overconfident after a string of wins? The setup almost doesn't matter. The emotional state determines the outcome more reliably than the chart. This is not widely taught because it cannot be sold as easily. You can sell a course on a trading strategy, you can sell an indicator, you can sell a system, but you cannot package and sell the long, uncomfortable process of genuinely understanding your own psychological patterns. That requires something most people in the modern world have systematically avoided: sustained, honest self-observation. There is a concept in elite performance psychology called metacognition, thinking about your thinking, watching your own mental processes the way a scientist watches an experiment, without judgment, without interruption, without needing the results to be different than they are. The traders and investors who consistently perform at the highest levels are not necessarily smarter than you. They have not necessarily found a better system. What they have developed is the capacity to observe themselves in real time, to notice when their emotional state is compromising their decision-making, and to step back. Not to suppress the emotion, not to pretend it doesn't exist, but to see it clearly and choose not to act from it. That distinction between experiencing an emotion and being controlled by it is the entire game. And most men never learn to make that distinction because it requires a quality that modern culture actively discourages: stillness. Not meditation as an aesthetic, not mindfulness as a lifestyle brand. Actual, functional, practiced stillness. The ability to sit inside discomfort without immediately converting it into action. Every time you take a trade born from anxiety, you are training your brain to believe that anxiety is a valid signal. Every time you revenge trade after a loss, you are reinforcing the pattern. Every time you hold a loser because you cannot emotionally tolerate the confirmation of being wrong, you are deepening a groove in your psychology that will become harder to exit each time you return to it. The market is not punishing you. You are punishing yourself. The market is simply providing the conditions. Let's go further. There is a reason some men repeatedly lose money across multiple domains, not just trading, but business, investment, relationships, health. It is not bad luck. The universe is not conspiring against a specific individual. What is happening is far more precise and far more uncomfortable to accept. These men have an unconscious relationship with failure that keeps them in a familiar emotional state. Psychologists call it a window of tolerance. The range of emotional experience a person finds comfortable enough to function in. For some men, success creates more anxiety than failure, because success is unfamiliar territory, because success introduces new pressures, new visibility, new expectations. And the unconscious mind, which prioritizes familiarity over happiness, will quietly engineer a return to what it knows. This is not a character flaw. It is a survival mechanism applied incorrectly. But here is what that means in practical terms. Some men are not losing money because they lack the skills to win. They are losing money because some part of them is more comfortable with the story of almost winning than with the full weight of actually winning. That is a devastating thing to consider, but it is worth considering. Because the alternative is continuing to search for the next strategy, the next system, the next market, the next opportunity, while carrying the same internal architecture into each new arena and producing the same results with quiet, reliable consistency. So what changes? The first thing that changes is the question you're asking. Most men in this situation are asking, what is the right trade? What is the right strategy? What am I missing? The right question is, who am I when I trade? What emotional state am I operating from? What story am I telling myself about money, about risk, about what winning and losing mean about me as a man? These are not comfortable questions. They don't come with a clean answer you can screenshot and save, but they are the only questions that produce permanent change. The second thing that changes is the relationship with loss. A loss is not a judgment. It is information. It tells you something about your system, about your timing, about your risk parameters. But more importantly, in the beginning, it tells you something about your psychology, where you tightened up, where your ego got involved, where fear or greed entered the process and distorted your perception. The man who can look at a loss with clarity, not with indifference, but with clarity, is a man who can learn. The man who looks at a loss with shame, or with anger, or with the immediate need to recover, will keep paying tuition indefinitely. The third thing that changes is the pace. The most consistent destroyers of trading accounts are not major market events. They are the decisions made in the first 30 seconds after a loss, the revenge trade, the position size increase, the switch to a different instrument because the current one betrayed you. These decisions are made at the speed of emotion, and they compound the damage of the original loss in ways that take months to undo. Slow everything down. This is not passivity, this is precision. The most dangerous speed in trading is the speed of reaction. The most valuable resource is the pause between stimulus and response. That pause is where judgment lives. That pause is where discipline operates. That pause is the difference between a professional and a gambler who has memorized technical analysis terminology. The fourth thing that changes is what you want from the market. If you want excitement, the market will take your money and give it to you. If you want validation, the market will take your money and occasionally give it to you, just often enough to keep you searching. If you want stimulation, the market is perhaps the most expensive form of entertainment available to a middle-class man with a brokerage account and internet access. The only sustainable motive for engaging with financial markets is capital growth through disciplined, process-driven decision-making. That is a quiet motive, an unglamorous one. It doesn't make for compelling content, it doesn't feel like a personality, but it is the only one that produces results across time. Here is what no one will say directly. Most people who repeatedly lose money in markets are not losing because the information is unavailable, because the strategies don't exist, or because the opportunity isn't there. They are losing because they have not yet made the decision, the full, honest, unromantic decision to change who they are when they engage with risk. Not what they know, who they are. Knowledge without psychological integration is just expensive trivia. You can know every candlestick pattern ever documented. You can quote risk-to-reward ratios in your sleep. You can explain market structure with precision and fluency. And you can still blow your account because the knowledge sits in your prefrontal cortex and the decisions get made somewhere older, somewhere faster, somewhere that predates language and logic entirely. The men who master this, and they exist, they are not mythological creatures, did not find a secret system. They did something far harder and far less marketable. They sat with themselves long enough to understand the specific, personal ways their psychology works against them. They identified their patterns. They built protocols not just for trades, but for their own behavior. They treated self-knowledge with the same rigor they applied to market analysis. And then they stopped needing the market to mean something about them. That's the shift. Not confidence, not arrogance, not certainty. Simply the removal of ego from the equation. The ability to be wrong without it costing you your identity. The ability to be right without it inflating it. The market has no opinion of you. It will take money from the undisciplined. It will take money from the emotional. It will take money from the brilliant man who never learned to separate his sense of self from his portfolio performance. And it will, over time, quietly transfer wealth toward the men who mastered the one asset no chart can measure: themselves. That work is not glamorous. It is not something you can post about. There is no indicator for self-awareness. There is no backtest for emotional discipline. There is no notification that tells you when you've finally made peace with uncertainty. There is only the long, private, unglamorous process of becoming someone who can lose without breaking, win without inflating, wait without deteriorating, and act without needing the outcome to define him. Most men will never do that work. They will find another strategy instead, and the market will be waiting.